stagnate because
OBS Studio 22.0.2 64-bit window Fortnite window.
or maybe he just can't quite find the energy to go yet again. We'll see. That's probably particularly speculative, but you never know. Things change quite frequently in Formula 1 in unexpected ways.
There are only so many glass ceilings you can smash through, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
We very briefly mentioned at the beginning that we've seen a little bit of Verstappen versus Hamilton on track, particularly towards the end of 2018 when Red Bull really got its act together. Have we seen enough from their interactions on the track, and I think crucially off it, and the little discussions in the podium room and that sort of thing? Do we have an inkling of how that rivalry could play out if, and of course this is a massive if, Honda gives Red Bull a powerful enough and reliable enough engine that Red Bull's in the fight throughout the season? What do you think we've seen so far? And is Hamilton already ready for that challenge, or do you think he's still putting in some groundwork perhaps for when Verstappen is the next big rival?
I think it's impossible for him to have completely worked Max out yet. As you say, they've had a couple of little dances, but the playing field has not been equal. Hamilton's been going for a championship. Verstappen's had nothing to lose because, although obviously he wants to win races, Red Bull hasn't been in title contention. So Verstappen can afford to get his elbows out, can afford to be particularly aggressive. Hamilton, as we saw in their battle in Austin, had to be a bit circumspect. But the way they talk about those incidents out of the car suggests they're both very respectful of each other and can see that when the stars finally do align and there's a battle of equals, it's not going to be straightforward for either of them to get the better of the other.
I suspect that Verstappen has probably got just a little bit on Hamilton now, on one lap pace. I think it's got to that point now where...
Really?
Yeah, I think so, because you had that point when Hamilton burst onto the scene in F1, and obviously he was so Senna inspired. There were all of these comparisons to Senna, but he's a bit more Prost now. He's older, he's wiser, he's still quick, still very quick, but he's that all-round package.
And Prost was quicker than people ever gave him
Yeah,
credit.
exactly, and it's just that all-round package. He's just so smart. It's difficult to see how you beat Hamilton over a season at the moment if he's got a good car. Whereas Verstappen is that raw, rough.
Balls out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in the wrong even when I'm in the wrong. He is the embodiment of Senna's very flawed, if you don't go for a gap, you're not a racing driver philosophy. That's what Verstappen believes. So that's the sort of roles I think they're taking. But I think that Verstappen's weakness is that I don't see him being able to be the complete driver over a season. He says...
Not yet.
No,
that's certainly the case. I think Hamilton can... He mentioned it after Brazil, didn't he? I know that incident with Ocon is very particular, and you can argue different cases on both sides, but Hamilton can see that Max can lose his rag quite easily. He can maybe have a little bit too much tunnel vision on the moment rather than thinking about the bigger picture, and that is something for him to exploit. So, and it's kind of natural considering the stage they are at in their respective careers.
But it's age and experience.
Exactly, and Max is obviously a fantastic talent and is probably the driver that Hamilton is most wary of these emerging threats, but he still isn't quite the rounded package. So heading into the new season, Hamilton still has that small measure over him, I think.
Well, there were the comments from Verstappen the other day, looking back at the criticism he threw at Renault constantly over the second half of the year, and he said, "Oh well, you just have to accept when you're in the wrong. I know when I'm in the wrong, blah, blah, blah." All of this stuff. Well, actually, there's mounting evidence over the course of this year that you don't know how to accept that you're wrong. And Lewis knows that.
Only in hindsight, though. That's the thing, isn't it? Max needs a lot of time to process everything and then climb down from whatever soapbox he's climbed up onto. Whereas Lewis, probably partly over just the benefit of experience, like you say, Glenn, he knows how to make those judgments sooner and crucially in the moment, which means he doesn't get into these kind of scrapes with other people.
So I can see that. I don't necessarily think it will ever escalate to the sort of poison that we had between Hamilton and Rosberg, but I can if Verstappen emerges as a title candidate, I can see him and Lewis being the sort of head-to-head adversaries that results in a little bit of mental, mind game kind of thing, as well as the on-track warfare.
Space. 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 2. Space. M. M. Space. Two. M. M. Six. Start window, Cortana, search box, editing. OBS Studio 22.0, YouTube video player, controls, check stop recording checkbox. Cortana. OBS Studio 22.0.2, 64-bit, Windows, profile, untitled, scenes.